what is going on out there. I'm pretty sure nobody's here right now, but people are going to be back. Like I said, I was going to be back at 7:30, man. Just like I said, to all the people that was looking for me to be live last night on Late Night Drees, I'll be doing that tonight. Because because last night my card was declined because it was all my old information. I got a new debit card and I had to put all the new debit card information in. And I will definitely be doing late night dreams tonight. But I'm gonna wait for a couple more people to get in here. My guest has arrived. My guest is in the building, and we will be getting started momentarily. I see 5 people in the chat room. Count them: 5 times 5 times 5. And I like to make sure that all 5 of y'all wipe your foot on the rug. But we're gonna be coming with another interview coming by way of Sierra, or in this case, Fortaleza, Brazil. The state is Sierra, or the province, or whatever it is. It's Sierra, you know. But like to give a shout out to Cam B. He was in Brazil with me. He had a nice time doing flips and kicks and shit when we was in Rocinha. Shout out to that brother there. And I see Q Speaks the Truth is in the building. What's going on with you, player? Let me get a couple seconds to do me some shares to my Facebook groups. I mean my travel groups and whatnot. Like to see what's going on. Hey, how's Brazil looking? Well, I got somebody here from Brazil that's gonna show you how everything is looking, player. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to hit all the countries. I haven't found nobody in Thailand that speak English, but I know some of y'all be going over there, you dig? So, you know what I'm saying? But hopefully I can find somebody in another country. I'm gonna find somebody in another. I'm gonna find somebody, and I'm gonna find somebody in Italy too, for sure. Like to give a shout out to LG. WTU is in the building. Thanks for the shout out. I think that was you that's in the donation. No, it was this guy, which is J Ray B. Thanks for chiming in tonight. And I got 10 people. I'm pretty sure it's gonna go up to 30 in the next 5 to 10 minutes. But I guess I could get started now. But this is Dree's Live number 56. You know, pretty much, uh I guess I could call it I'm gonna just call it Brazil. How about that? Brazil. Featuring my friend Fortaleza in English, aka better known as Miss Vanetta, where we speak on current events, but we got an eye on travel. We've heard from the tour guide, we heard from the airline agent, but tonight we're gonna hear from the teacher. She's the teacher in Fortaleza Ceara, and something that this COVID-19 has put a stop to is education or kids going to school. But we will hear from a teacher that is currently in Brazil. And if you've been with me throughout my journey coming in this YouTube thing, you know that this woman was the first person to interview with me on my channel. And it was an actual live interview. It was a actual one-on-one, a real one-on-one, not me here and that person there. Now, we were both in the same place at the same time. We were in the Maryland section. We'll talk about that. And I was going to put out another video saying everything about it. And what I actually plan on doing is revisiting all my travel videos, and I'm going to open up my other YouTube channel, which I never really talked about to anyone. Just maybe got like 14, 15 subscribers right now. But it's just going to be all my travels, just raw with no commentary, no anything, plus the footage of anything that I didn't add into the videos that are on this channel. But without further ado, back for a second time, I'd like to bring to the YouTube forum or DreeZTV forum. This is Miss Vanetta. How you going? How's it going, Miss Vanetta? Introduce yourself to everybody.
Hey y'all,
How you doing?
my name is Vanetta. I'm originally from Alabama, but I've been living in Fortaleza, Ceara, Brazil for about 10 years. In America, I was an ICU nurse. In Brazil, I am an English teacher, like all the other gringo foreigners.
Oh, okay. That sounds. I thought you didn't do any teaching. What teaching are you doing there? Is it just necessarily English or just different subjects? What are you teaching?
Yeah, it's basically English all day, all day, every day. As you probably know, since you've been traveling around, the whole world needs to know English. And I live in a place that's not like Rio or Sao Paulo, so it's not overly international. And there's not a
Right.
lot of foreign people living here. So I have a lot of business. Yeah,
Indeed,
like
indeed,
yeah, everybody. And then it's a class thing too. We might get into that a little bit later, but it's a status thing too. People being able to learn from a native speaker versus a Brazilian teacher is like a whole thing.
indeed, indeed, indeed. And to anybody that would like to support Mrs. Vanetta's platforms, you can find her here on YouTube if you subscribe to Fortaleza in English on YouTube, or you can go on Instagram to American.in.Fortaleza. Did I do that correctly?
All of that is correct. My YouTube channel is extremely lo-fi and like very handheld vlogish, just to just to let people know like some stuff that's here. So don't expect stellar editing or anything.
Don't worry, I help you out with that. But to the,
Okay.
to the people who are interested in our dollar value in other countries, you get $5.35 in Brazil. You get 54 Dominican pesos, 4,023 Colombian pesos, as well as 33 baht in Thailand. I don't know why I do that. I just do that just to have something running across the bottom of the screen while we're talking. But
All right.
so let's get into you as a person. Um, how have you been holding up out there with all of this COVID-19 and all these shutdowns and layoffs and cutbacks going on out there?
Right now, we have been on lockdown, which they call the quarantine, for about 3 weeks now. They shut everything down here after about 9 cases, because as you know, Brazil has universal health care. And up here where I live, this is like the Alabama of Brazil. If you can think about that. I'm from Alabama, so I see a parallel between both places. This place definitely cannot support a whole bunch of people getting sick at the same time. So, after they had 9 confirmed cases, they shut everything down. Um, at first I was really afraid that I would lose all of my students, but the great thing is that uh, most of my students are pretty young and they have not had a problem at all just going online. I even have a couple that have said, yeah, even after the coronavirus, we're gonna stay online. So in this first month, it's been okay, but I know that we have to wait until June or July, when everything has peaked. In any case, I have been stocking up on canned goods, beans, rice, sausages, things that have a long shelf life, because I've been reading a lot about like food disruptions, and
Right.
service disruptions and stuff like that.
Indeed, indeed. So you said you were from Alabama. What part to be exact?
I'm from Tuscaloosa. Roll Tide, if anybody knows
Well,
what that's about.
well. Trust me, I know what that's about, and trust me, my my partner that lived right up the street, Mr. Ed Ogeron, he knew what that tide was about. So, you know, I, you
Yep,
know,
I should have known because you are from Louisiana, so it's not like we're from worlds apart.
right. I just had to get that in there. Shout out to J Ray for the donation again. Um, so even though you still got your teaching going and you haven't been doing any scratching now, I still see you got a full head of hair. I don't see like this. You haven't been pulling any hair out lately, have you?
I have
Yeah.
not. I am very blessed because you know that the dollar is very strong now. So I do have like resources in America if I were ever to just get get really in a bind here. But luckily, I have not been able. I haven't had to use any of that right now. As I said, nothing has been nothing has gone too wrong. But I'm I have to get back with you in June or July to see how things are because we're right at the start of it right now.
Right, right, right. Well, my comment section likes you a lot. They're saying, Hi, Miss V, how you doing?
Hello,
And
hello.
shout out to J5. But I have a question coming from the chat room, as a matter of fact, saying, how much does it cost to live in where you are?
Man, right now, because the dollar is ridiculously strong now, we have an insane president. But the good thing about the insane president is that he loves Americans, you know? So right
Right,
now, you know, like $1 is worth about 5 reais. So if you have access to dollars here, cost of living for you is very low. You can have a very very high quality of life for about you know, especially right now, like about a third of what you would be spending in the United States. So, you know, for like $1,000 per month, you can have a beachfront apartment, you know,
right,
like probably a whole floor to yourself or half a floor to yourself, you know. And since
right,
there are not a lot of foreign people here, you know, so something as simple as teaching English can earn you a pretty decent living in this place. If you're in Rio or Sao Paulo, one of the more international places, you'll have more competition. But because I always tell foreign people when they go somewhere, go to learn the language and go to like one of the smaller towns where there's not a bunch of foreign people who have taken the thrill away,
right. Got,
so to speak.
gotcha. I can imagine some places where that has happened. You know, shout
Yeah.
out to everybody that go to the SUA, by the way. But so in Fortaleza, there's not a lot of Afro Americans.
No, I've seen like maybe one other one living here, and the rest are African. And I think I've mentioned to you before how strong the classism is here.
Oh, I noticed
So
that myself.
yeah, so I mean it's crazy because I don't know how else to explain it other than like here that people don't, if you're American, if they see you, if they hear you speaking English, they don't see you necessarily as black, they see you as American. There's a bunch of Africans here, and you know the people can tell the difference between me and Africans. How they're able to see, I don't know. Maybe the I don't know, but they know the difference.
Yeah,
And you know, like a lot of the Africans have suffered a lot. They suffer a lot from racism and you know things like that. My time here though has been absolutely great because I am here as an American. It's still a weird thing that you have to get used to, but it's, you know, I've read
mhm.
articles about American privilege and it's definitely true. It's a thing.
Yes, indeed. Well, we did speak on the whole classism thing because coming from the airport, and it seems like it's on the interior of the city of Fortaleza. It seems very, very hoodish. But as you get closer toward uh, what is that? Where we met at Bahakajabor, it gets
Yeah,
very,
Bahakaji boy,
very,
yep.
it
Near
gets
the
very,
beach.
very high class. Yeah, and then once I
Hmm.
guess Mirales, how do you pronounce it? Mirales or Mirales?
Mereles.
Mireles. Yeah, that was very, very high class, and I did like that restaurant you brought me to, which was Monte Carlo. I still remember that. But
Yep.
as going back to cost of living, what are some good spots or neighborhoods to live in Fortaleza?
Yeah, so if you want kind of a higher class lifestyle, definitely Mereles, Praia de Iracema, Aldeota, Coco. These are the four like really high class places, you know, that are kind of what we would consider like very very high class places, you know. And if you got access to dollars, you really don't need that much money. You know, if you
Right,
got 1,000 a month, it'll get you that. If you're more
right,
bohemian and you want more of a native experience, The neighborhood called Fatima and Benfica are really good neighborhoods to live in to start out.
So those are so those are primarily Afro-Brazilian areas?
Yes, Meireles and Fatima are more well here they have a lot of they have a lot of like mulattoes and people that are a mixture of Indian and Black and European here. So the further away you get from these kind of rich areas like Aldeata, Meireles, Coco, the darker the people become. So if you're in Benfica and Fatima, you'll start seeing more people that look more similar to us.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. I'll definitely come and see those people next time I'm there. Because
Yes.
when I come, I know I'm coming back at some point. You know what I'm saying? And
Stay a whole day at least the next time.
oh
Please.
yeah, I'm gonna definitely do that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hopefully I'll catch you when you in your off time where we can hang out. And as far as hanging out with you, I seen you
Definitely.
went to some place. I seen you go to some places. You and your partners. Y'all was like in a desert somewhere. What was that? You
Yeah, like
know?
this is exactly why I started my YouTube channel because one of the issues here in this area is that to really be able to access this state, you really need to be able to speak Portuguese or have some friends that speak Portuguese. Because for me, the whole place is fascinating. There are basically three different climates in this state. You have like a mountainous, hilly region they call the Serra or the Serra, um, and the part that looks like the desert. That part is what they call the Sertão. It's the semi-arid region of the state, and it is a really really important part of the state if you're really looking to experience the culture and understand where these people come from and why they are the way they are, like going into the desert of the state or the semi not really desert but semi-arid region. I think is a really important thing. I mean, it's why I started my channel because unfortunately when a lot of foreign people come here they because they don't speak Portuguese and they don't necessarily have friends here, they get a sense of like, okay, I saw the beach, there's nothing else, I'm gonna leave. But actually the place is very rich, is very rich in music, food, different regions to go to. But yeah, it's just hard for us to access because a lot of us don't speak Portuguese. But yeah, I think that you're probably talking about one of my videos that I took when I visited a place called Lajinhas,
Yeah,
and it's yeah.
it was named something like that. But
Hmm.
I forgot what the name was. I just knew you was out in the desert and y'all went to like a ranch or something. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And y'all stayed in the house and all that. I said, I gotta check that out. Probably gonna be close.
Yeah.
It'd be the closest as I would get to the Sahara. So I definitely gotta come back and get with you and get with your tour guide or whoever that was you was with. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Yeah. Like there's a lot. Yep.
but my Roger Young says, "Do you speak Portuguese?" I want you to answer that to that man in Portuguese, if you don't mind.
Ah, sim, eu falo português. Meu português é tipo de português de estrangeira. Então, não é perfeito, mas sim, eu falo. Você fala português?
See, I must see if he responded to that. If he responded to that, I will put that up on the screen. And otherwise, I'm gonna make Roger Young stop stunting. Stop stunting, Roger. You know what I'm saying? You know. And shout out to Mr. DYB 305. He says, "Wow, like you know,
Legal. É
he.
muito
I guess
legal. Uhum.
yeah, he. I guess he digs you too. I got 36 people in the chat room. I'm here with Miss Vanetta. Wipe your foot on the rug before you come on in the house to talk to us. If you don't do it on the way in, make sure you do it on the way out. If
What's
you
up,
don't
y'all?
mind. Indeed, indeed. Please make sure y'all subscribe to my sister at Fortaleza in English here on YouTube. or American.in.Fortaleza on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Here's another one of my brothers. Shout out to Cam B. He was with me in Rio. We all met up in Rio. Me and this
Oh,
guy.
cool.
This is my other brother that I was with. I met up with all of them in Rio. I was in Rio by myself for like a week and a half. Like I was up there with you for like a day, and then I went to Sao Paulo, and I went and looked outside, and I was about to get an Airbnb, but I wasn't feeling Sao Paulo like that. I didn't want to be there. Sao Paulo got the gangsters, So I just went on. I went to sleep in the airport. You know, I'm not gonna lie
Now,
to you.
did you feel like an energetic difference between Fortaleza and Rio? Like, even though you were not here that long, maybe you could have felt a difference between the two places.
Well, I really didn't get a feel for Fortaleza other than just being at the restaurant. And when I was
Hmm.
at when we was in Monte Carlo, it was like everybody was looking like, oh, he speaks
Like,
English, you know. You know what I'm saying?
yep,
And,
yep,
and I don't know if you noticed it, but they had like these two girls that were like sitting on the other side of the restaurant when we first got in. That by the time
yep.
we finished speaking, it was like maybe a table away.
Like,
Like, like they really had to listen to what we were saying, like they knew. That was like, oh, he speaks American, a dark skinned American. We don't see too many of those. It
yeah,
was
exactly,
it was weird though.
exactly. It's like a lot of things. We had a camera, and it looked like we were doing something that they're not used to seeing there. We're definitely black, but obviously not African black, which, as I was saying, there's a difference somehow, that American privilege thing that I was talking about. And yeah, speaking English, if people don't know the language that you're speaking, and it looks like you're doing something interesting and cool, people here, the culture is such that they don't hide. So if people think something is interesting, it's more like, they stare,
Yeah, yeah,
very openly.
they
When
did.
my
Oh, yeah, they
Yep,
was like, oh,
yep.
like, yeah, I'm looking, nigga. I'm like, wait, hold on, why are you doing this? You know what I'm saying? We don't see
Yeah,
too many.
when my family came here, they didn't necessarily know what to expect, but I think their experience just really exceeded their expectations. And some of it was just because you just don't see black families in this neighborhood.
Indeed, indeed. And speaking of family, how's your family back home? Are they all
Yep,
right? Are
my
they healthy?
family. Yep, they are healthy. As you know, I am a retired ICU nurse, so I've been cracking that whip on my family about wearing masks. Even before the CDC finally came out to say wear them. I've been talking about wearing the mask, staying home. Because my parents are in that vulnerable range, and yeah, so far they've been doing really good. I would suggest to everybody who comes across this video, definitely start stocking up your food. Do not listen to anybody trying to shame you about panic buying. It does not exist. Stock
Right.
your food up, because I'm already reading things about food shortages. I read an article about how America does not even produce or grow even half of its food, and how it's not necessarily a lack of food, but a lack of supply chain. There's going to be supply chain disruptions, or that's a big probability. So yeah, I'll stock up on them canned goods and rice and beans. That's the end of my soapbox.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Roger Young says, if you're a black American and you can speak Portuguese and you have money, you can live like a king in Brazil. You
Sim, é verdade, é verdade.
see,
Particularmente, se você não mora nos lugares muito popular, é melhor. If you don't live in the very popular places like Rio and São Paulo, because a lot of people, when they come, they become very focused only on those places. But I mean, if you choose like a mid-sized town somewhere, maybe on the outskirts of Rio or the outskirts of Sao Paulo, that's where the king and queen treatment come. And if you're willing to learn the language, and it's like, I mean, it takes you to a completely different level. Um, people that only speak English, they are extremely limited in where they can go and what they can do. If you learn the language, and it does not have to be perfect. My Portuguese is you can compare it to some of the foreign people that you know in America, or if you're from Europe or Canada, like a first generation immigrant that you hear there speaking broken English. That's what my Portuguese sounds like. And like it's more than enough, for me to make a lot of friends and to do what I need to do here.
Right. Right. Well, I know I asked about your family back home, but and speaking of back home, how long has it been since you've been back home?
I went home for Christmas. I was hoping that my family would be able to come in June because we're trying to set a pattern for them to come every June. But then the coronavirus hit. So, we might have to do it next year. But yeah, I went home. I went home for Christmas, and it was really great being in Alabama. um,
Right.
Before that, it had been 3 years, and that's the longest that it has been. I've been away. I've been out of America for about between 14 and 15 years. I've lived out of America, but you know, this last time it had been 3 years since I had been home. So I don't know. This time when I went home, it was kind of different. It was great being home.
Yeah, yeah. See, 3 years, that's a little bit too long. See, you probably don't care went out there and probably met Julio or something like that. You said, "Oh, I ain't going home right now." That's probably what happened. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good. But
Yep.
Q speaks the truth. Says, did you go to school to learn the language though?
No, I didn't. That's why my Portuguese sounds like a second generation or a first generation immigrant to America, only Portuguese. It's because I didn't go to school. I just learned out of
On your own?
necessity.
On your own?
Yes. Yes. And
Oh, yeah.
it's a very organic and natural process. Like a lot of people think that it's really hard. But I mean, if nobody, if 95% of the people that you're surrounded by do not speak English, then, naturally you start putting words and ideas together, reading in Portuguese, things start clicking, watching videos in Portuguese. Yeah, so that's how it happened.
So let me guess, you started watching movies on YouTube with subtitles.
Yep, like movies, reading. I learned a lot from reading and also trying to be around people that didn't speak a lot of English. Although most of my friends do speak English and they want to speak English with me, they don't want to speak
Right.
Portuguese. Uh,
I could guess. I could guess that two of those movies that you watched with subtitles was either City of God or Elite Squad.
oh, of course, I've seen both of those like several times.
Right. I
Yes.
still I, I still watch Elite Squad though. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I was trying to get I was trying to find it exactly where they shot City of God in Rio, right? No. They
Yep.
shot City of God it was Rio?
It's supposed to have taken place in Rio. So, and you see that big favela in Rio. They could have shot parts of it in different places, but like
Right.
there are some iconic scenes from Rio that are definitely in that movie.
Cause I went to City of God. Trust me, I didn't stay long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
I went. I just went by myself and just went to the entrance and just looked at it and turned around and left. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going in there by myself. I was out there a week by myself, but I wasn't finna walk in there
Yep.
by myself. I
Oh,
had
sorry,
started
my
to,
my cat. Yep.
but
If you see
yeah,
my
man,
thing moving, it's because my cats are shaking it. I'm sorry. Yes.
it's all
So
good.
you
Shout
were
out. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you were out. So you were out in City of God. What was your impression of the place?
uh, don't go in. How about that?
Stop. Why? Why did you feel that way?
Listen, if you see a little 13-year-old dude on the back of a moped with a 223 semi-automatic rifle lo- longer than your leg, don't go in. Plain and
You're like,
simple,
what?
don't go in. Now,
Yep.
when my friends came, we was trying to go to the other one, Donna Marta, I think the name of it is, the one where Michael Jackson statue was. I heard they
Yep.
tore it. I heard they tore it down.
That I don't know. I'm not sure.
So we was on our way up in there because we had went to this other place that was like right outside of the. Went to a restaurant called Photo. What was it called, Rich? Fogo de Chao. And I think
Fogo de
that's what it
chão.
called.
Yes, Fogo de
Yeah,
chão.
they got it in like Atlanta too, but they don't have it around here. I think they got it one in Atlanta, and I think they got another one in like Dallas and Houston. And
Yep.
it that Fogo de Chao is crazy. I mean, like I had to tell all the look. They kept on bringing meat and bringing more meat. And I was like, hey, look, if you gonna bring me some meat, cook the motherfucker first. I mean, everything they brought to the table was bloody. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I was I thought I was Count Dracula by the time I left. You know, I thought I was I thought I was a vampire by the time I left, man. Everything was
you
bloody. You know,
you don't like that? You don't like rare meat?
no, I like cooked meat. You know,
Yeah. You like? Yeah, like they down. Fogo de chão is very good. It's a traditional. They call it a rodizio, which is basically people. You can do different types of rodizios in Brazil. And of course, one of the famous ones is their meat because they have about 1,000 different ways of making meat here. They are famous
right,
for it. But you know, there are pizza rodizios where it's basically men and women walking around with 1,000 different types of pizza.
right,
You pay one price at the beginning, and it's like all you can eat, and they're just walking around with whatever you want. And you know, there are different types of rodizios, but yeah, like their meat. I have become a fan of rare meat over the years after getting used to it. So I I kind of some cuts are good, you know, well done, but some that rare meat is real nice, but it's an acquired taste. I know. I know.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. They kept asking me, "How would you like your beef?" I was like, "Dead, player. I want it dead, fully cooked, dead." You know, I'm talking about. You know, I can't do bloody. You know, no more. I no. You know, and
Were you
then
able to get you
it,
some? Were you able to get you some well done meat up in there, or it was
no,
just
well, yeah, yeah. After I had to tell them, after I had to literally take my fork and scoop the meat back on the thing and say, "Look, go back in the back and cook that." You know what I'm saying? I mean, but they try to feed us all. You know, I don't mean to cuss, but they try to feed us all. You know, and I hope roller tape ain't in here when I say this, but but they brought these little bitty pieces of meat to the table, right?
hmm.
And these little pieces of, you know, they were just little chunks. And and they gave my little brother these little chunks, and it was like maybe like 20, 30 pieces. You know, they was in a big old hump on the plate, right? And so he eating one, he ate another one, he ate five of them. And the man came back. The man came back with another what they call it, another tray or whatever. He was like, man, this is good. It's fully cooked. What is this? Oh man, that chicken hearts. He just spit up everything. You
Aw.
know what
Chicken hearts.
I'm
Oh, those are so
saying?
good. Yep.
I can't do 'em. I can't do them, you know.
Ah,
But
oh, those are so good. Yes, I love them chicken hearts. Yeah,
yeah, but he done ate
you.
about 20 of them at that point in time. I helped him. I hit him on the back. I was laughing and shit, but I hit him on the back. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. It was
Now, do
very
you do
crazy.
you do you eat chitlins?
No, 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 no. With the membrane, without the membrane, I do not eat chitlins. I don't
Because
do chitlins.
they have their version of chitlins that's not like our version. It's like it's very well seasoned and made in a pressure cooker, and very 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 tasty.
No,
No, no
I'm
guts, no stomachs, nothing.
no, I'm not doing nobody's version of chitlins. I'm not doing nobody's version of tripe. I don't give a damn where you at on the earth. I'm not doing it. Now,
So
I will
good
say
though.
this.
Yeah.
I have I have had their red beans. They have red beans down there too, but
Yep.
they don't do pigtails. They don't do ham shanks. They might do a little sausage or something, but that is it was just basic. In the hotel where I
Mhm.
was living, they did red beans and they had like a cube like they had sausage in it and like a little cube ham or something like that. And I was doing that.
Yep.
I ate that every day with two big slabs of chicken breast and a salad for like $5.
Oh,
You know,
nice. It
oh
was
yeah,
you got a marmita.
yeah. It was
Did it come
nice.
in it? Did it come in it like an aluminum bowl kind of thing?
No, I was sitting in the it's one of the places out there. You go to the buffet or whatever. They weigh up by the gram. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it was a marmita. That's one of the best things about this place is that you can find like home cooked food like
Right,
that. You don't have to depend on McDonald's. Well,
right.
McDonald's here though, it's expensive here. It's
We were,
considered
oh,
like a yeah, go ahead.
but we went to a Burger King out there, and the Burger King was off the chain. The
Yeah,
hamburger
it's
tastes like
good.
yeah, the hamburger actually tastes like hamburger. I was like, damn. I wish I'd have came here before. But going back to the place where I was eating at, my friends came over once they finally came to town, and I was like, hey, look, they charge by the gram. So if you're gonna try to do whatever you're gonna do, just put your food on the plate and weigh that. But nah, they don't won't listen to me. They won't do the salad and put the dressing on, and then when they put the plate up there to weigh it, they won't put the salad dressing on. They got the forks on it, all this other shit. I was like, bro, you gotta wait till you pay for it, and then you go back and you put your salad dressing on. That's just extra weight you paying for. So they
Yep.
try to buy the same thing that I bought. And they ended up fussing with the people talking about, man, I ain't never coming back here. I'm like, bro, you want you should have just did what I did, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I mean, that's like that. Like what you're talking about is one of the I think like one of the make or break experiences because Brazil is a weird place. Like people either love this place or they cannot stand it. Like like there are no in between people that I've seen. And one of the biggest things is if you're like you and you're able to go with the flow and understand that you're not in your country, you're in another place and you have to do things like they do. You have to enter their mind, then you'll be successful here. But if you're not that type of person who can just if you're not the type of person that can sort of adapt quickly, Brazil can chew you up and spit you out.
Right. Well, my thing is, I was just getting used to learning language, but I did find me a place that did filet mignon the way I wanted it. You know,
Oh, nice, nice.
and I pretty much went there damn near every night, to be honest with you. You know what I'm
Could you see
saying?
yourself living in Rio? Could you see yourself living there?
Yes and no, because I don't want to be in a place where they got too many travelers. I'd rather be in a place where there are not a lot of travelers to where the point where I seem to stand out as an American, you know.
Hmm.
Because in Brazil, like you said, they see you as American before they see you as black. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I still remember that from the first interview. You know what I'm saying? I rewind it every time I hear it, and I'll be like, "Girl, say it again." Yeah, American before you're black. You know, I'm just saying that's what stuck out to me. You know, it's not you're an N word or you're a coon. It was none of that. You know, if you could speak just a little bit of Portuguese, it could take you a little way. You know, so
Exactly.
I started telling people, I say, if you learn in Portuguese the phrase that you don't know all the words, oh, trust me, they will help you learn some words. In fact, you'll find out that a lot of them actually know some English because
Yep.
they'll start like if you don't know what the Portuguese word for cup is, and then you say, "Oh, no sei todas las palabras," they're gonna be like, "Oh, cup," you know,
Yeah.
and they're gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? And look,
Yep.
there was a club that I was going to that when I went there my first night, I was paying 100 reais, and that was just to get in. That by the time 2 weeks later, when my friends came, I was paying 50 reais, and I would get 2 free drinks just because I was the
Oh,
American
damn.
that brought other Americans. You know what I'm saying?
But you did it right though. You did like you really parlayed your Americanness and
Right.
finessed it the way you're supposed to. But probably because you're so used to traveling though. Have you ever had experience with people who are not accustomed to traveling? And some of your American charm did not work because those people were there.
Right. Well, I went to a place in Colombia called Santa Fe, and Santa Fe
Mhm.
is ducked off in one of the rivers is surrounded by a river that connects to the Amazon.
Mhm.
So it's way in the jungle. Like Medellin is here. Like imagine where you at. Like it's like Santa Fe is Tuscaloosa, but Medellin is probably like Birmingham, like a good 2 hour drive. You know what I mean? So I'm
Yep.
like way up in like the Amazon. It's part of the Amazon forest, or or the rivers that it's one of the rivers that's connected to the Amazon. So when I got back there, it was like a certain little part. Like she had us walking over the bridge, was like this old ass bridge that had been built like in 1920 or something like that. And they had the little hood area that I was like, I want to go
Mhm.
down to the hood area. I want to see that. And the lady was like, no, no, no. So what I did, I got me a couple beers and I sat down and waited. And I'm sitting down there just waiting for somebody to come from the little hood area to come walking through so I can have a conversation with them. Because this is right when I this is like right when I started the whole interview process because I was way out there in the Amazon. It was a brother that ran up to me and was like, dude, you're Drees. You're Drees. And I'm looking around like, wait a minute, who is this guy? You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
they were like, everybody was like, man, your videos motivated me to leave DR to come to South America. And there's
Wow.
like a couple people who were like, bro, I don't even go to South America. I don't no, excuse me. They like, I don't even go to DR no more because of you. It's either that or they don't
Wow.
go to DR as much because of you. I come to Colombia, I come to Brazil now because of you. Because I saw your videos. And I'm like, damn, I ain't think I could have that kind of influence like ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like it's crazy. That is crazy. Do you find that since you have demonstrated that you've learned some Spanish, because I've seen some of your videos where you're able to communicate in Spanish, that it encourages other people to not be afraid of language learning?
Well, it's a lot of people that as much as you try to put it in their mind, it's not gonna go infiltrate through their brain because you got a lot of people. Let's being honest, they just going on there for a certain thing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
even though I do consultations on Brazil, I got a reason why that whole thing about consultation started is because they would ask me things online that I wouldn't want to answer online because I'm currently on YouTube right now with 2 strikes,
Hmm.
and it's like the next strike I'm out, and
But
it was
two
because
strikes for what? Why?
for, an- for answering questions and bringing up subjects I should not bring up during a live, you know, you know. So it would be what happened was it was like I'm in I can tell you when my sex strike happened. I'm in Brazil, in Rio, and brother was like, "Man, won't you go and check out this place? Show me what this place. Tell me what this place about." I'm like, all right." So I go walk over to the place, which happened to be like 2 blocks from me. You know, started filming and everything. I'm not gonna say what kind of place it was, but I went and found out for myself so I could just get a brother insight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I posted it on the YouTube so you could watch it. I should have just put it on WhatsApp and left it alone. But I
Mhm.
posted it on YouTube. And before anybody could even view the video, they was like, "Yeah, we're gonna get you a strike right now." You know what I'm saying? So you
Mhm.
either you either take the strike or take it down. So before anybody even viewed it, they had already given me a strike. But I think they took the strike back. So I actually think instead of two, I just got one strike because I took it down.
Mhm. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah, that's
But
so annoying.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I gotta, so that's why I started the whole consultation thing. So if it's questions that should not be or answered on YouTube, I go ahead on and ask them over in consultation. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But shout out to Roller Tape. Roller Tape, I'm not gonna lie to you, that story was hilarious. I don't know if you heard it, so I'm not gonna repeat what I just said, what happened at Fogo de Chao. So, but that was just a hell of a thing, and I hope you enjoyed the story how I told it or what have you. But if you didn't hear it, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Love Entertainment. He said 37 watching, got 37 likes. Well, I'm up to 43, so I hope I got 43 likes. So I hope all of y'all wipe your foot on the rug while y'all in the house talking to DreeZ and Miss Vanetta, if you don't mind. If you have not done that on the way in, please make sure you do it on your way out. This is DreeZ Live number 56, Brazil, featuring Fortaleza in Brazil. Excuse me, Fortaleza in English. Sorry, but
That's all
this
right.
is the lady of the hour right here. You know what I'm saying? You gotta
Hello.
understand. I got the lemon. I got the lemon. I don't know if you can see that. I got the lemon flavor caparina going on, so it's causing me
Yeah,
to.
nice.
Yeah, it's causing me to mess up my words a little bit, if you don't mind.
Oh,
You know.
I had my whiskey and coke earlier. I was
Oh,
I was talking to people. You know, whiskey and coke is like in the rest of the world outside of the southeast is considered just disgusting and the worst thing ever. So I was explaining, out like southern folks and whiskey and coke to some people earlier. So yeah, I've been sipping
right.
on my things too.
So, what you been sipping on, Jack and Coke, or just what whiskey
We
you
well
use?
here black and white Jack Daniels here is, I mean, it's considered like a delicacy, extremely
Yeah, I was about to
expensive.
say that.
So
Yeah,
I save that for special occasions. The one that I drink here is called black and white. It's not as rich as Jack Daniels, but it'll do for a quarantine. When you got your Coke and you're just trying to relax a little bit, it'll do.
indeed. Drees is forgetting about himself a certain thing. LOL. No, I ain't forgetting. That's why I'm saying a certain thing, man. But we grown. We know what we talking about. I just can't say it no more, man. Gotta leave that alone.
No
But I
more
ain't gotta.
strikes. Yep.
Right, right. I can't. I ain't worried about that. Plus, in Colombia, I already got mine, so I ain't got to worry about none of that no more. But I can answer them questions for y'all in consultation, of course. You know what I'm saying? Shout out
Private.
to
Yep.
Robert Young. Even though he's speaking to LaQuinto Fox, I'm gonna mind your business for a second. He said food in Colombia is good, however, it doesn't have the dearth and a variety of Brazil and Peru. Brazil and Peru have
That is correct.
a bro or both worldwide champions. I agree. Colombia, you good food is like foreign in between. Like being honest with you, when I'm in Medellin, I like going up in the mountain and I like doing chicken on the stick there because you see the chicken alive. They kill a chicken right there. They clean the chicken right there. You eat the chicken right there. So I'm not worried about eating chicken with HGH and steroids and human growth hormone. I ain't worried about none of that. But I will say this: the food that I saw in Brazil is somewhat similar to what I'm seeing down here in Louisiana, especially in red bean plates. You know what I'm
Well, you
saying?
know why? It's because of those African roots in both places.
Exactly.
Before the early 1900s, late 1800s, Brazil was a country full of African slaves. And then
Yeah.
the government, the Portuguese government did not want a country. They practiced eugenics, like all places in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And so they basically, the reason that you see a bunch of white people in southern Brazil is because they basically paid and gave free land to a bunch of poor Europeans, having them come here to live in Brazil to whiten the country. But I mean,
Yeah.
this place has a massive, massive black and mulatto population, and and that's a whole other thing here. But I mean, yeah, any black person that comes here and tastes any of the food, like yep, like their national dish, which is feijoada, is like black beans and and pig parts basically, and
Right.
it is the national dish. It is the pride of Brazilians, and it is so obviously something that came from the African slaves that were here.
Right. I like red beans. I like white beans. I'm not doing black beans no more because I don't know. You know, the gas you get from them, well, the gas I get from them, that ain't no. I'm not doing it no more. But
Mm-hmm.
fajada and acai. Fajada, I heard of fajada, but what is acai?
Açaí, this feijoada, which is the beans that I was just talking about, the beans and the black beans and the pork parts. And açaí is that you probably saw it at some point. It's like a purple looking ice cream looking thing, but
Hmm.
it's not ice cream. It's like a frozen fruit dish
Like a yolk,
that's
not
like
yogurt or nothing like that.
it's in the ice cream yogurt family, except it's pulverized. It's a pulverized fruit called acai, and usually it's sweetened, and you can put
Right,
stuff in it. Very
right,
refreshing.
right, right. But getting back into Brazil. Question: do you approve of Bolsonaro?
For the most part, no. Although
No.
there are certain things that his government has done, which I'm not going to lie. I It's not him though; it's the people working with him. So
Right,
I think it was a great thing that they did an overhaul to the retirement system here, because before it was ridiculous. Like people were retiring at the age of 50, between 50 and 55, and receiving 100% of the pay if they worked for the state. The state workers here, they already get inflated salaries anyway. So people here before they were retiring, by the time they were 50, 54, 55, and living an additional 20 to 30 years earning, if they were earning 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 working for the state, they would continue earning that for some reason. So they finally they did away with that. I think they earn a portion of that when they retire, but they upped the retirement age to between I think like 65. That's what it is, which they had to because people are living much longer now, and that was just unsustainable having all these people that before a school is built, before anything is done, you're just paying these people's salary. It was ridiculous. So
right,
I
right,
liked that his government did that, and I like that they overhauled the workers' rights, because that's another thing, is that like the rights of the workers here. Although I do understand why they did it, because companies here take so much advantage of people that work for them, but like it was ridiculous. Like it was ridiculous. Like like when all was said and done, one person cost as much as two, because of the number of taxes paid on each worker. It was ridiculous. So some
yeah,
of the things, and then waiving the visa. It obviously is very good for Americans who want to come here. So you don't need the visa to come here. So he made it a lot easier because he wants us to come here and spend that money. And so I can't be mad at that. And I believe also that they're doing that they're playing with their currency a little bit, to force Brazilians to stay home and spend their money at home, but also to attract people to come here and spend their money.
Indeed, indeed.
So I don't I
Well,
don't I don't like him. He's an idiot, but his the people that actually are doing things, I can't disagree with everything. He's stupid with his response with the coronavirus. He's still talking about how it's just a little cold.
little fluke.
Um,
Yeah, I
huh?
read it.
Yeah,
Said it's a little
yeah,
fluke.
he's real dumb. So him, I can't take seriously. But some of the things that his government has done, I cannot disagree with. But him, I can't stand him. He's an idiot.
All right. Well, I'd like to give a shout out to. I ain't gonna put your name out there. The KW for the donation. You don't happen to have a, PayPal or Cash App or anything like that, huh?
Me, no. I could make one though.
All right. Well, whenever you do, let me know. Next time you come back on, we working right now. You see what I'm saying? So that way I
Hmm.
could, help you out, a little monetarily. But you're a teacher right now, so you're doing good. So hey, what I'm saying? But
Thank you. Thank you.
indeed. But shout out to NBA agent. I guess he was referring to before the whole lockdown started. But is Brazil a safe place to travel? Or will it be a safe place to travel once the borders are open again?
Yeah, it depends on you. In my opinion, and this is something that is always asked. Um, my experience has been very different than white people that I've met who kind of stick out like sore thumbs when they come here, and don't know what to do. In my opinion, big cities in Brazil are like big cities all over the world. You have to pay attention. You have to know where you're going and pay attention. It's the type of place where you can't be walking around talking on your cell phone, flashing watches and stuff like that if you're in a big city. On the other hand, when if you decide to do something that's not in Rio or Sao Paulo or even in Fortaleza, like I mean, it's a world where people are still leaving their doors open, you know.
Mhm.
So it depends on you, and it depends on where you're going. The same rules, in my opinion, the same rules that apply in any major city, they apply here. I don't feel like it's just exceptionally more dangerous here than any other place in the world. I feel like a lot of that is overblown.
So, so in other words, what you're saying is that Fortaleza is not like Chicago. What's worse, Fortaleza or Chicago when it
Man,
comes
I
to
think
crime?
Chicago. I think for the average person, Chicago is more dangerous. Um, if you there's a Fortaleza has a higher mortality rate, but all of that, almost 100% of it, I won't say 100%, but at least 80 to 85% of that mortality rate is specifically and only people that are slinging drugs and are in gangs. You don't see a lot of like random shootings and things like that. They do happen occasionally, but not often. Um, like something that they do here, for example, like whereas in the United States, if you are in a restaurant and an enemy sees you in that restaurant, he's just going to drive by that restaurant and shoot everybody there just to get to you. That kind of
Right.
stuff will happen in the United States. Whereas here, they do like very specific and targeted assassinations. Like two guys, you could be in a crowded restaurant and two guys will come up on a motorcycle and kill just one person, and everybody
Right.
else goes. Like here is it's a really it's really interesting how they perceive violence. Um, because like the main violence in Fortaleza is that for the majority of people, if you're not poor, if you're not black, if you're not male, and if you don't have any association whatsoever with drug and gang activity, the violence that you face is basically having your phone stolen or maybe being pickpocketed, which is very common everywhere, you know.
Right.
Um, but the same type of violence that you know, poor people in America and all over the world face. I mean, it's the same. It's the same thing here. You know, you have to be mindful of how you conduct yourself in public. Can't be going up in the hood if you don't know anybody there. Like for me, it's the same thing. You know, for Brazilians, they are. I feel like for especially white Brazilians, um, like they a lot of them like watch movies about America and Europe and things like that. And when they go to America, like a lot of them go to Miami thinking Miami is like the safest place in the world. You know, because they're not, yeah, because they're not reading the newspaper, they don't know anything about the history. You know, they stay on South Beach, so they're just like, oh, you know, like they have no idea all the danger that they're surrounded by when they go there, you know, because they can walk on the streets with their phones, you know. Um, and the phone thing is because, you know, a phone here can cost like the cheapest phone here will cost as much as 800 reais, you know, because you have to buy your phone here. You don't get it with like a phone plan. And I try to explain to people, like, if that were the case in America, if you were just walking around, you know, with like, if everybody was just walking around with $1,000, you know,
Right.
like
Right.
to
Right.
their
Right.
ear, I mean, phones would be stolen, you know, if our phones were not locked and if they were not specifically related to like a phone plan, you know, you would have a lot of stolen phones there too, you know. They don't have those random shootings here, you know, like we do in America. So it's different types of violence, you know, they're more
Yeah. Yeah.
sensitive here,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. They got a lot of them cowards down here. You could, man, man, I could go on all day talking about those acts. We call them accidental shooters. You know, because it'd be on the
Hmm.
news. It'd be on the news like a man from the seventh ward and a man from the ninth ward got into an altercation, and four people from China were shot today. I'm like, damn, y'all can't even shoot the right people no more. You know, they just want to take the gun and just shoot it and just to say they shot people. And man,
Wow.
it's crazy in New Orleans. But I'll say this about this whole coronavirus. You know, it has turned it turned the thug button off because ain't nobody
Yeah.
getting shit. Nobody getting shot right now. You know, people are dying shit. People are dying now from just sicknesses and shit or old age or something. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Nobody's getting shot from gunshot fire or none of that. However, a majority of people in New Orleans are stupid. We are not supposed to be doing social distancing. I mean, we're supposed to be doing social distancing. But last week,
I feel like New Orleans is a hot zone that's just been forgotten because everybody's looking at New York right now, you know, but New Orleans is another hot zone.
yeah, but at the same time, New Orleans is a port city just like New York is. See, the
Hmm.
people that designed this shit, they knew exactly where to put this shit, you know? And I got a lot of people that are saying, a lot of people around me that are saying, "Oh, it was Mardi Gras that got us messed up with this whole coronavirus." But the thing about it is, I just came from a Mardi Gras in Colombia. They did the same thing, except for they went to lockdown. And where I'm living at in the parish of Jefferson, they have more deaths in this county or parish than they do in the whole country of Colombia. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
But
And
Americans, it's a really interesting conversation that's happening in America though, because like I'm still reading about people that are they're worried about their civil liberties and they don't want anybody telling them what to do, you know. So they even though, and you know, and a lot of people that have just decided that, oh, there's no coronavirus, you know, so they're just going to continue doing what they want to do. Whereas in these
see,
other places, they're not afraid to put the police on the street and say, "Go home, get your ass inside." You know.
right, right. Because I'm seeing videos now coming from like India and Italy where they've just taking sticks and just
Like,
beating your ass.
yeah,
Yeah, get in the house, Claire. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, like
But
a grandmama just
but
getting. Yep.
right. They look, they just whooping you like the lights on or something. You know, you supposed to be inside
Yep.
right now. Get in the house. But
Yep.
that I had a slight skirmish with. I want to think it was Q Speaks the Truth because he was talking about the same thing you just said because they talk about the freedom and all of this. But see what that ignorance is going to lead to? It's going to lead to somewhere we really don't want to go, which is uh that martial law. Because I said it in the last video. I don't know if you watched it or not, but I did a video called Backwards. It's like three
Yes.
videos from this particular video where
I
I
did
said,
see that. I did see that. Yes. Mhm.
and I was like, when they finally go into full lockdown, like where they should have been at least a month and a half ago, Pookie and Ray Ray gonna be outside, and just because the police are enforcing their law or get your ass inside, they're gonna whoop Pookie and Ray Ray's ass. And somebody's gonna scream racist, and the police and the police this and the police, and guess who gonna show up? Goddamn police. And,
Yep.
at that point, it ain't gonna be what you want. You know what I'm saying? But I just
Yeah,
heard
like
a
the
story.
martial law thing. Like the people are so and maybe because I've been away a little while, so and I've seen basically martial law in every country that has coronavirus, So, but the way that Americans, because we're so obsessed with the idea of doing whatever we want whenever we want, and we tend to be very self-oriented now. So we don't care about the greater good and how it affects anybody else. Like one of the things that I couldn't believe that I kept seeing in our media was that, especially in the beginning, how quickly people just were just willing to throw away old people, to just discount anybody over the age of 50. It was like they didn't matter. I was like, what? You don't have parents, aunties, uncles, grandparents, friends that are over the age of 60? But there was just
What
this
the
whole
thing?
diatribe that, oh, well, it's not me, so I don't, their lives don't matter, you
No,
know.
I'm not saying their lives don't matter. I'm just saying, like my father, for instance. You know, look, nigga,
Hmm.
stay inside. Whatever you need, I'll go get it for you. You know what I'm saying? You
Yep.
know that's how it was for me. But pops came down with a little something, and
Hmm.
luckily he made his way through that. You know what I'm saying? Came back and he finally made 77 on last Saturday. So
Oh,
shout out to
yay.
pops. But as far as the whole throwing old folk away, it's really people with systems, not endocrine systems. As far as I'm seeing it, is either people with older folks with not what system is it? Immune systems that that have a ailment, like say like they might have high blood pressure or something before coronavirus. There's either something going on with their system causing it to deteriorate, or their system hasn't been um quite formed yet, or like a baby. Now we just had one baby died from coronavirus. I forget where, but one baby died. But at the same time, being in New Orleans, I'm in a situation working, and I'm seeing motherfuckers who ain't working at all, just walking the streets all day, smoking weed, passing the blunt to the next man. So I'm like, this is how it's gonna get to the people it shouldn't even be in, because they have
Well,
healthy immune system, and you could be asymptomatic,
exactly.
but that's how it's gonna get to these young folk. But
Well, and the thing is too that American young people are very unhealthy. A lot of young people in America have diabetes, high blood pressure, all this stuff that old people that you only saw old people in the past have, and especially the poorer population that can't afford health care and cannot afford good food. Because we're also seeing a lot more young, like young people that didn't have pre-existing illnesses, because most people don't understand the nature of illness. I mean, if you're
right,
having like one day, like a day when you didn't sleep quite enough, and you're not just 100% yourself, and you pass the wrong person coughing and sneezing, then you are very susceptible that day as a young healthy person. um, I definitely wish that they had made masks a priority earlier. I don't like all this mess about people not wearing masks. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. you know, um, And I feel like our leaders really, really dropped the ball a lot. I've been aware of this thing since January when I saw China building all those hospitals in 10 days, those huge hospitals. I've been following this thing since January, but our
Right.
government didn't become serious about it until like March, it wasn't just America. It's like it was like several governments, um, and then we have places like Italy, Spain. I think now, there's another place being just like ran completely over, Ecuador, Iran,
Really?
all those. Ecuador and Iran now are just being ran all the way over with coronavirus because, they didn't do anything in the beginning and they don't have systems that can handle it, so that's
Right.
when you start having all those people dying, is when hospitals are overrun and you don't have enough people to give them high level moment to moment care. That's when they start dropping like flies.
Right. So Brazil is bordered by Ecuador, right?
Are we? Is Ecuador on our? I don't think Ecuador is on our border. I don't think it's on our border. I need to let me look at my map real quick and see.
All right. Well, while
I
you
know
looking
that
at
we have like Argentina and Paraguay.
yeah, I know about them.
Ecuador, though, I don't think so. No, I don't think Ecuador is one of our border places.
Have you been to Argentina?
I have not. Argentina, like, there's just something about it. Maybe it's because Argentinians, a lot of times they feel like they should be European. Something about their attitudes. I can't speak for all Argentinians, just in case
Right.
some see this.
So
Um,
they never had any. I never heard anything about Afro Argentinians.
there are Africans all over Central
Exactly.
and South America. Like we are everywhere. But just like in Mexico, they're hidden there. There's just no
Mhm.
focus on them. You know. But yeah,
Mhm.
we're everywhere. But even in Brazil, Brazil wants desperately to be like a majority European country.
Yeah.
They like that's how many of them see themselves. But
Right. Oh,
you
that's
know,
nothing. You ought to see some of these people in the Dominican Republic. You know,
hmm
they had this one that told me she was white, but you sitting up here with this big ass forehead, these big ass these big ass breasts, these big ass legs, this big ass, this big bell pepper ass nose, and you got the nerve to tell me you European. Man,
I
you
mean, but that's okay. So no, Brazil is not bordered by Ecuador. I think Ecuador is more in Central America. But yeah, like
okay.
yeah, I mean that's an interesting thing too here in Brazil. Like that's a whole other conversation. The like something that I've been learning about lately is the phenomenon of what we would consider Black Brazilians waking up to their blackness, becoming Black. I mean, that's a thing here, developing their consciousness as a Black person. A lot of them, especially the ones my age, the ones that are over the age of maybe 25, you know, they, uh, they they're not always aware, especially if it's a Black person, but they're more affluent, something like that. They're not aware. They're aware that they're different somehow, but they're not aware that they are Black until something happens or until somebody tells them. I mean, like it's a really interesting, fascinating phenomenon. And this is a place where you cannot, you shouldn't call somebody Black unless they call themselves Black first, because there's so much, yeah, like there's a lot of subtext to Blackness here. Like myself, I have been in arguments with people because I identify as negra, as Black,
Right.
but people here, because Black is supposed to be wrong or bad, they would say, no, you're a morena, but but I'm
Right.
obviously not a morena. Morena is like a mixed mulatto looking person. I'm Black, but
Sure. Morena
But
is mixed,
it's yeah, it's a mixed. It's basically a mixed person. Yeah,
like
more.
black.
Yeah, Lisa Bonet is a morena.
Okay, okay. Well, let me.
Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I get it. So let me give a shout out to KW once again, brother Jamal, Ned G, as well as J Ray. Thanks for the help out right there. You know what I'm saying? Before we get back into your president, we go into this chat room one more time. Excuse me. Uh, my brother Cool Jordan would like to know, as an estimate, how much is a one bedroom furnished apartment going for a month in Fortaleza?
Yeah. So in Fortaleza, I mean, you could have like right now, with as strong as the dollar is right now, you could have something like on the beach for like 500.
Yeah, that'll
Like
work.
$500. Less than $1,000.
All right, then. How much would it be for that same thing close to the airport?
Like $100. Like $100.
Oh man,
That's more. That's in the hood.
yeah, very hood. And I don't know. I'm a hood person, so I would probably want to stay in a place like that. But I definitely have to know Portuguese to stay there. You know what
Well,
I'm
the
saying? So
hood is nice. Like that's how I used to live in a place that was on the edge of the hood.
right,
Um, that's how you really learn local culture, and it forces you to learn to use your Portuguese.
yeah.
That's how I learned some Portuguese.
Well, I don't know if you watched this particular show, but there's a particular show I checked out. I think it was shot down in Sao Paulo. The name of the show was called Sintonia. Have you watched that show?
Antonia. No, I never heard of it, but I will watch. Is
Uh,
it on Netflix?
it's on Netflix. It's about
All right, I'm
it's
going to
about
check
a
it out.
guy. It's about a guy doing. I guess they call it reggaeton down there, and
Hmm.
he's trying to stop working at his father's store to do the music. Meanwhile, he got a brother that they disassociated with. He's selling dope, and it's pretty much like Power, except for in Brazil. Same
I'll
thing.
check it out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
called,
there's a lot of good stuff coming out of Brazil on Netflix now. I will check that out.
and they got a Colombian movie that Spike Lee did. I'm still trying to find out where can I find it so I can watch that. Just because it's a movie he did in South America, I want to see it. I forgot what the name of it was. But getting back on your president, man. You know what I'm saying? Do you approve of well, I read an article today that said that 80% of the people approve of in social distancing. So do you approve of your president's decision to close the borders when he did, or was it too late, or should he have done it earlier or something like that? Or you know,
Every place outside of Asia closed the borders too late. Yeah, but I feel like America did too. Canada did. Well, Canada hasn't even closed its borders yet. The
right.
thing is that the world is so globalized now. I believe that all these governments knew that something was happening, but nobody wants to lose money. The people don't want to shut things down anymore, and every place now, what's
So
become very obvious is how heavily dependent on China the whole world is now for manufacturing good things to junk. you know
right.
um but yeah, I think I definitely think he should have shut the borders earlier. But every place outside of China should have. But we also have a lot of political correctness and all of this other stuff influencing that. What was so funny, because I have friends living in like Japan, Indonesia, different parts of Asia. And what was so funny there is that like a whole bunch of Asian countries like Hong Kong, Indonesia, South Korea were the three big ones that I can remember right off the top of my head that shut their borders to Chinese people at the moment that there was a problem. And
Right.
in South Korea especially, they I don't know, like they have issues with Chinese people. So they were already putting up signs saying like no Chinese allowed in South Korea, you know.
Right.
My friend in Indonesia told me that they gave Chinese non Chinese people that were not citizens of Indonesia, they gave them 48 hours to get out of Indonesia. Like
Yeah.
when it was, yeah, like when it was clear that something was going around, but
Right.
unfortunately in the West, like we don't know how they handle each other, so we can be bullied
Right.
by that Chinese government. But around Asia, Malaysia was another place that was like that immediately shut its borders because they've dealt with outbreaks from China before. A whole bunch of
Right.
stuff comes out of China.
Right. Oh man. So when you get caught outside in Brazil, do they beat you like they do in India? Or you get a
No,
citation?
like
Or what?
no, like here. Well, here it's interesting because that's one of the class things that I see happening too. What's very interesting here is that the coronavirus here, at least right now, it is mainly in the rich. It's in the upper class right now. Those are the people that went to Italy and bought it back here. Those are the people that have foreign friends. Those are the people that went traveling all over the place and brought it back. And so,
Right.
at least right now, it's not that strong in the poor population. And there's a difference in behaviors. The upper class, since it's burning through these neighborhoods up here, people here are wearing masks, and you don't see anybody on the street. In the poorer neighborhoods, though, that like they're going on about life like nothing is happening.
So it's all the
So
rich people.
yeah,
And
because poor people, that's the catch 22 is that the poor people all over the world, they can't just stop working. They
right.
have to risk their lives. They don't have the luxury of just saying, okay, I'm just not going to go to work.
Yeah. Shout out to NBA Agent 5. He says, I don't know why he said this, but he says, no Louisiana Popeyes player. Man, look, let me tell you something. You see this right here? You see this right here? This is the Popeyes receipt that once you I dropped it. Once you finish the survey, you get 2 free pieces. All you gotta do is buy a cold drink. You know what I'm saying? So yes, it's still gonna be Popeyes in this place. You just gotta. I just sent somebody else to go to the drive-through. You know, if I order Uber Eats, I might well just order a 90 piece because they gonna charge the shit out you by the time they bring it to you. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it is what it is. But you say it's all the rich people that have all the viruses. Okay, then if that's the case, it's not too many rich people from Brazil that are in jail. So what's the deal with all these jailbreaks they got going on? I heard that.
Yeah. Well, there's corruption at every level of society here. Like one of the jailbreaks was related to like a real kind of weird rule that they have here, which they have a lot of jails that where they like just basically low security jails where they let people out on the weekends anyway. So one of the jailbreaks happened, like in one of those jails. Um, and a lot of these places, guards can be paid off, to look the other way and things like that. I don't ever believe, I don't ever fully believe, like when I just see a jailbreak here, I don't ever believe that, oh, it just happened. I am always suspicious that maybe somebody was paid off to look the other way, something like that.
Right, right, right,
Because those are not that common, and yet, like right now, a whole bunch of them are happening. I'm like, whatever.
right, right. So it's not causing any panic in the immediate area or anything like that. Cause I heard they had one in like the jailbreak in Sao Paulo. So you know,
Yeah, like, and it was like it was in the state of Sao Paulo. It was not in the city of Sao Paulo. You know,
that's
yeah,
something how
those
they.
people are.
Yeah. So I'm guessing, these motherfuckers never thought about maybe I should break free to be free, but because of the little flu, oh, I'm gonna get the hell up
Yeah.
out of here. So hey, it is what it. I saw a little video and it looked like they said it was a jailbreak, but everybody was jogging. I'm like, man,
Yeah, like they were. Nobody was chasing them. I'm like, in situations like that, I'm like, it's a jailbreak.
yeah,
I mean, they had somebody there with a camera that could see the people going. There was nobody trying to catch them, and it's not like there were just thousands of people. So I'm a little bit dubious about that video. You stuff like that, you can't believe it always. Like there's corruption at every level of society. It's
right.
known. No.
Yeah. Let me answer this question right quick, just in case research says you've been to Brazil and don't know acai. Well, I didn't know it was acai, but if somebody walked up to me and just said, "Hey, dog, you want some acai?" The first thing I'd have thought about was the ass part. So no, I wouldn't have wanted nothing to do with acai. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
No acai. Oh
yeah.
my God.
So I know I heard of it, but I was too busy happy. I was happy with drinking Caparinas. Happy, so much happy is that I constantly make my own Caparinas on my show. So whenever you see this is Caparina. I will try acai when I get back to
Acai.
Brazil. So when I come back to
Acai.
Fortaleza, just you make sure I get some acai. Acai.
We gonna
What is
go
it?
get some acai.
Man, yeah, yeah, most definitely.
Oh
Um,
Lord.
Just a couple more questions and I'll let you go. I didn't really mean to keep it this long, but it was
Oh
good
no,
talking to you.
this has been a lot of fun. It's been great.
I said I love seeing you. I love looking at you. I love watching you smile. And plus, I also love that you're Southern. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like for me too, like, and we're in this because I don't leave my apartment really. I leave once every 10 days to go to the supermarket. That's it. So it's nice, and it's nice to talk to somebody from home, which is a completely
Right,
different type of conversation and energy. Even though I do
right,
love my Brazilian friends, it's just different language, different conversation, different subject matter. So it's been great for me, just so you know.
right.
I have enjoyed
Well,
myself.
oh yeah, most definitely. So you say you leave once every 10 days. So how does that do they? Because in Colombia, I heard they do a thing where you can only leave on either Thursday or Sunday, and the day you get to leave or the time you leave is based on your social security number or what have you. So if your number ends with like a zero, you can only go out like on Thursday. But if it's like a 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, you go out on Sunday. Are
Ooh.
they doing anything something like that? Or are they just
Here,
saying okay?
Here,
Are
no.
they
Like the people here have just, at least in this area, the people have just naturally gone inside. So it's rare that at this point that you will go inside, like to a place and see the place just absolutely busy, like like it would be on a normal day. Um, so right now they haven't done any of that.
indeed, indeed. Like to give a shout out to expat at large. I didn't know you was in the building, but I finally made my way down toward the end of the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my little brother OW. Get the likes up. It's 29 people in here. Hopefully I should have 29 likes by the time we get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? But shout out
Thumbs
to
up.
Libra. She said she's speaking facts. I was in Hong Kong where it all where it all started. Even Hong Kong closed most of their borders to maintain Chinese people. The few that got in were quarantined right away. See,
Yeah.
them
Yes.
people,
Like they
Here's what
around Asia, they were not like they because we see all Asians as being the same, But I mean, of course, around Asia, like a lot of other Asian countries are somewhat contentious with that communist Chinese government that's trying to take over everything. Hong Kong, Malaysia, and Taiwan all have issues with Chinese people anyway, so they definitely did not need like any excuse. They didn't need that much of an
right,
excuse to be like, you know what, close borders.
right.
You
Got
can't come in anymore.
got so um so you said they had jailbreaks, but crime hadn't escalated, you know. So
There are in some places, like in Recife, I've seen videos of some. They call them arrastões here, which we would call it like looting, but it's like an arrastão is when a whole bunch of people basically,
hit the store.
storm a place and just start taking stuff. So I've seen a few of those. And I have heard of someone having their food stolen here, in a place that's not that far away from here. Like if you're a woman like it was a woman by herself who had opened her trunk at the supermarket, and three dudes just rolled up in the car and just casually just took her stuff. You know, and of course she's not gonna she's not gonna be like, give me my
Right,
stuff. So stuff like that, I expect that it will increase. It's Brazil. When the poor people start getting desperate, you're going to start seeing more of that. We haven't gotten there yet. If
right,
if they're able to get this under control, we may not have to see it. But if they're not, they're already discussing, like giving financial stipends to people. They've already cut, like for the poorest family, I think they don't have to pay the light bill and the water bill this like for the next 2 months or so. And they're already looking at giving like a financial payment to people at different in different sectors, like the freelancers can get like 600 reais, so they can at least get some food. And the female heads of households will get like 1,500, something like that. So they're already looking at that type of stuff.
right.
So
So
far, the violence has not come, not yet.
what are they doing like to offset the whole people to not working? Are they doing stuff like, okay, you don't have to pay your electric bill this month, or you don't have to pay rent this month? Are they doing anything like that? That's what they're pretty much working on right now.
Yeah, that's like, as I said, the like it's the water bill for the poorest families. They've waived their necessity to pay for that, and I think they've done the same thing with electricity, with the electricity bill. There's a whole bunch, and a bunch of the taxes that they have here, they're waiving them for right now. So if you have like a small business here, like I have a small business, so one of the state taxes that I have to pay every month, they're just going to waive that for this month and next month at least, so I can keep that money. So it's
Right.
stuff like that. What do you think about that? What do you think about that $2 trillion bailout that the people only get like a little piece of, and the rest of it is for corporations? What do you think about that in America?
Well, my thing is, I got some back taxes I need to pay so I could get out of America. So I don't mind getting that and using that and pay some of my back taxes also so the next time a breakout happen, I won't be here to go through this shit because I'm watching people be stupid, and a lot of this stuff that's coming down the pike is based on our ignorance, you know. And
What do you
and I,
mean? What do you mean by
like
that?
like people was asking me, would you rather be in another country on lockdown or be here? I'd rather be in another country on lockdown because this lockdown is where we're supposed to be right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because all the American government doing is trying to control us. I get the whole control part, but at the same time, what we need to do is not be outside right now. Period. But
Well, I mean, yeah, all the idiots are going to force, like, you have all these people talking about like, oh, they just want to control us. But what I have observed is just like a really slow moving disaster happening. The government being as polite as it can, asking people to stay inside, and all these like individual minded people talking about like, oh, martial law is going to come, so I'm not going to do it. It's just
right,
there's a bunch of conspiracy theories too. A lot of people think that the government is, it's like a something that the government created, all this stupid stuff like this. So people thinking that they can't get it, all that mess. It's the stupid people, unfortunately, that are going to force the government. It's going to force the government's hand to apply martial law in a lot of places.
yeah, that's what I'm
Many,
thinking, and that's why I'm wishing I would have stayed in Barranquilla, because at least you get to come out at a certain time, and you go meet whoever you need to meet, get with whoever you need to get with, go get your food, all that kind of stuff. But
mm,
I lost my debit card, so I got tired of Western Union and myself money. You know what I'm saying? So I just went on and came back. But
mm,
expat at large is saying, well, I answer this. He says he's just wondering how many expats around the world are stuck without funds, like didn't plan on staying extra time and only brought and saved for a set amount of weeks for their vacation. Well, one thing I can tell you, player, is you see this one here? She not doing that. She she she's practically Brazilian. She ain't going nowhere no time
nah.
soon. Now you do have some people that said, oh, "Okay, I'm gonna go and get over here before they have a lockdown, so I can be stuck in paradise." Well, you doing that, you're pretty much rolling in paradise. Just wondering whether you'll be able to come home or not. Cause I seen the plane that they brought some people from Bogota on the other day, and you thinking it'd be like a regular plane, like an American or a Spirit. Nah, they had these people in the army plane, like they're finna go to World War III or something. And I was like,
Like you were
man,
finna go to World War III.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
plane where you don't have a side
Yep.
door you walk through. You just walk through the back of the plane, and they got that big old thing where you could put tanks in it. You just
Yeah.
walk up that, sit down. I like, man, shoot, ain't no way, man.
What's crazy though is like, I mean, with that too, I don't understand because I've seen a lot of videos of people being stuck places, but I mean, like they were sounding the alarm bells for weeks, you know,
Right,
before all of these borders were closed,
right,
um, but still I don't I the people that are traveling, I have no idea what they were thinking, but I mean they were sounding those alarms pretty loudly
right,
before they absolutely closed borders, and even I've even seen videos of this guy and his family. I think they're in the Philippines, like talking to people there. They feel like, oh, America has abandoned them. They don't know when they're playing, blah blah blah. But I mean, America gave a lot of warning to people. Like, look, come
right,
if you are American and you are not in America, come back now. Like
right.
I mean, I saw it all day, every day for at least a couple of weeks. Um, so yeah, here because there's not that many expats here. It's difficult for me to get a feel for people that are just sort of stuck out.
Right. Well, back to your president. If the borders reopen, cases go down considerably. What does what happens with the president's approval rating? You think it goes up? You think it goes down? Or you think, okay, this dude's still an asshole?
No, his approval rating is not necessarily going to go up, but I think that Brazil could have a similar problem to America. A lot of people they can't get behind Donald Trump, but we
Freezing
do
up
not.
on me.
Oh, can you see me? Hello, hello.
Yeah, I see you now. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? You froze up on me a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, like like a lot of people don't like Donald Trump, but I mean, we don't have any Democrats that can really challenge him. The Democratic Party is like is a joke
Yeah.
right now. Brazil has
I
to. I mean,
mean,
they have to produce. They have to produce someone that can challenge him. That's what has to happen. Otherwise, he'll win again.
right, right. I mean, if you tell me to choose between him and say like Hillary Clinton, I have my thing about women in certain parts of management, and I ain't trying to see Hillary Clinton right there. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not. You know,
Well, and
but
people just don't trust Hillary Clinton.
well,
There's just something sneaky and untrustworthy and unlikable about her.
well, her
you
and her
know.
husband, her and her husband locked up the most black men like it and forever. So yeah, and then you gonna call me black president, and then you won't go sit at the restaurant with black people, and they stupid for sitting up there on TV with it, trying to get attention, trying to get views and likes, But that was
Yep.
them. You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
That's the thing is like the American candidates. The Democratic candidates. They have to come to terms with the fact that they cannot ignore black voters. There are not enough
Right,
black baby boomers now to keep them in office, and they cannot. Even though they were trying to pivot to Latin America, they're seeing that Latin America, for the most part, they want Donald Trump. They don't want them. That's one of the
right,
reasons why they're trying to have open borders and bring in a bunch of illegal aliens, illegal immigrants, so that they can have a voting base that overtakes the black voting base. I'm one that thinks that. But they for some reason they are terrified of directly addressing black people, but
right,
but they will fight all day and all night for illegal immigrants for their rights, and LGBTQ issues. Those are the two groups that they're interested in. So yeah, like until they until they expand their platform outside of those two groups, they're not going to win. And until they start talking about something that the majority of people care about, because that's the thing is that the LGBTQ issues are important, and the immigration issues are important, but the majority of Americans don't care about those things. Like
right,
they're just not important enough for people to just go out and vote for those guys. So
right,
yeah, they got to get their stuff together.
right. And another question that just popped up in my head out of the blue about your president: why is he chopping down the rainforest?
He's an idiot because he doesn't care. He's a money. He's a private interest guy. So he's just opening it up for those loggers who want to make money from it.
Yeah, it's crazy because all he doing is pushing up the temperature at this point right now. When you cutting stuff like that down, you need that forest
Yep.
though. But
Well, we sure do. Yeah, but I mean, as long as you have the rich 0.1% that does not care about anybody's life, and that have that obsession with money, that they have the sickness. Like one of the craziest things that I've heard several times coming from the states, is those news stories about these guys that are saying, yeah, people should be willing to die to save the
yeah,
economy.
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
I'm like, what? They're really angry. They're really angry. What's so funny to me is that the like when we review the Great Depression before, what happened during the Great Depression of 1929 that was sparked by that huge stock market crash. People got through it.
right,
The Spanish flu, people got through it. We'll get through this as well. They're just upset because they're going to be less rich than they were before.
right,
Um, but That's what we have to understand, is that it's not Armageddon, and we've had plagues before, but we've never had one with the sort of infrastructure that we have now, the sort of communication that we have now with everybody everywhere, and the sort of globalization, the global dependence, the globalized dependence that we have now.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting. I think we're going to continue to see the two Americas. We're going to see that America that that we're going to see that America that is on television, that's all about stock markets and stuff like that. And then we're going to see the America that we exist in. That doesn't, I mean, the stock market doesn't mean anything for us. I think for the most part, if you're not a stock market person, just make sure you have a roof over your head and your canned goods. I do see that being something that can possibly disrupt lives.
Right. 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 But jumping off, get up out of here. A question that was asked, I guess, through that question would be, how did you find the right circle of friends after moving abroad?
Yeah, like, so the first thing, when you move abroad, do not try to, one big mistake that Americans, Europeans, Canadians, and Australians tend to make is that they want to be independent when they move abroad. But it's really important, to go work at a school, even if the pay isn't that good, even if you feel like it's beneath you or whatever. It's really important to go and work somewhere, join clubs, join some type of like meetups, find a job where you're with other people, and that's how you start meeting people. It's like my experience, because I went and worked at a school. The pay was not well. That was like 10 years ago. The pay was not well. It wasn't good at all. But I was able to make friends there. They were able to teach me about the culture, and I had a purpose, something to do every day while I was still navigating with my baby legs. So yeah, basically find groups either through work, through the internet, any type of meetups that you can become a part of some type of community. That's the best way.
Indeed, 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 indeed. Well, um, uh, I'll just go with one more last question. And
That caipirinha got you down there. Like, that caipirinha has you
nah,
relaxed.
nah, yeah, I'm very relaxed. I'm just trying to get to the next one, because I got a whole nother show to go after this, probably in about an
All
hour or so.
right,
But
all right.
from the people in Manaus to the people in Recife to the people in Brasilia, Fortaleza, Sao Paulo, and Rio, all together. Last question is: do you think they will welcome U.S. travelers with open arms again? Because Trump called
Yes,
this. Hold on, I know Trump called this a, a Chinese virus, but with how everything is moving along here in America, by the time we're able to visit Brazil again, it'll be an American virus, and that stigma of virus is going to be upon us sooner or later, just because we're so ignorant. But do you think they will welcome us with open arms, and why? And will they be
that's
doing
a that's
things?
a that's a
Go ahead.
classes. That's related to class as well. People from the upper class love America. They love Europeans. They love Canada. They love Australia. Upper class people will always, always, always uh, welcome us with open arms. Always. Lower class people, a lot of them are more communistic and socialistic, in how they think about things, and a lot of them are given anti-American propaganda. So there are a lot of people here that it's just ingrained to be anti-American, because they've learned to blame America for
For
all
everything.
like all of the issues that they have. Even though once you get here, you see that, nah, America is
Right.
not to blame for anything that this place is going through. It's their own bad governance.
Right.
Um, but yeah, the upper class is always gonna they're always gonna want Americans to come with open arms, and they're always going to want to be able to go to America. So like this virus isn't going to affect that.
Indeed, indeed. Well, uh, we've reached the end of our interview. You know, I'm about to get ready to get me another caparina set up for the next show, so I can be really right. Because the next show, it won't be nobody here. I get to say what I want to say. I get to cuss. I get to cut loose. All my chat room is asking the questions that need to be asked to get me to cut loose and cuss. But right now, as far as traveling is concerned, I want to leave you and open the floor up to you to let you influence our brothers that we have in the chat room about coming to Brazil and more overly to come to Fortaleza. What do you have to say about that as far as the traveling is concerned? I'll
Yeah. So
leave.
when you come, yeah, like when you come to Brazil, definitely go to the big cities, hit up the big cities, but think about also coming to some of the smaller cities. Brazil is a huge country, just like the United States. And just like in the United States, you have your New York, California, Miami. Those places do not represent the heartland of America, and the same is true for Brazil. I feel like there's a really important experience that a lot of foreign people miss because of the language issues, and it's hard to access things if you don't know anybody. Um,
Right,
but yeah, like I think if you come here, move like try to leave Rio and Sao Paulo for the end of your trip, and
right,
first try checking out one of the other places. Start there. Go out of your way to taste foods that you're not familiar with, even if it's bad, even if you don't like it. Try it. And go out
right.
of your way to go a little bit off the beaten path. Maybe not too far, but if you meet like a tour guide or something like that, ask them, or even a taxi driver, ask them something a little bit off the beaten path that you can experience. And yeah, come on, just come with your mind and your head right. Don't come with that
Oh,
imperial attitude, trying to take stuff over. Just come humble and ready to learn.
indeed, indeed.
That's
And
it.
I'd like to thank you for coming out tonight. And in the words of my man Lee Bernard, he says, Miss Vanetta, thanks for bringing us the enlightened conversation. Appreciate having you tonight. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This was great. It was great to go down south with you tonight. Enjoy your next caipirinha, whoever's watching. Thank you. And yeah, man, we have to do this again.
Oh, well, definitely. I'm for sure gonna get back with you. Probably we be do it live like the last time, when we first hooked up. But
Yeah, that'll be fun.
to my people, I'd like to say thank y'all for coming out here and being with us tonight. And as I always say in all my shows, and as a closing statement, life is a long story about how you died. Please walk the peaceful path instead of the tightrope given to you that makes others content with your being miserable. Once again, for myself, for Mrs. Vanetta, for Latin American Travels, for 35 and up, as well as the almighty WTU. This is Drees. Y'all have a good night. I'll be back later on with Late Night Drees. I'll talk with y'all later. Say bye, Miss Vanetta.
Boa noite.
Okay, there you go. So we up out of here, and I'll be talking with y'all a little bit later. Y'all have a good night, and hopefully we'll have Miss Vanetta on a little bit later. But hopefully when she comes back on, this Corona is gone, and we both sitting back sipping caparinas. May y'all have a
Yep,
good
it's
night.
gonna happen.
Oh
All
yeah,
right.
most
Ciao,
definitely.
y'all.
All
Boa
right,
noite.
peace.
Ciao. Bye.
All right. We up out this thing, man. I'll be back in about Well, I think roller tape got a show. I want y'all to go over the roller tape. Roll over the roller tape. I think it's some fuckery going on over there, and I'm about to get the link so I can join into the fuckery. I think they're gonna kill this dude tonight. I'm hoping it don't happen. But shout out to everybody that came here tonight. Expat at Large, J5, Libra Ned. Y'all go on over the roller tape. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm not gonna pass out J5. I'm finna go get me another caparina and get my roasting voice on. But I'll be back cussing later on tonight. Y'all have a good night.